this video is mostly for people that have family members, that have friends with mental illnesses, and they just sometimes feel okay, and they just sometimes feel lost. I'm gonna make the intro short and sweet because basically I fucking deleted the first one and fuck, I'm so fucking upset about that. Anyways, I didn't say anything too important. I was just telling that I woke up and the first thing that I thought was, whoa, what a dream. And the second thing that I thought was this video idea. So I just sat down like a maniac writing the script, and then I just started filming. I filmed it in like half an hour, just straight up half an hour talking. And that's everything that I said. I think let's just move on with the rest of the video because only the intro got deleted for some reason. For fuck's sake, you could hear my fucking clothes like doing this. That ain't it. Anyways, like I was saying, I woke up and I was like, I need to write this down because I'm gonna forget. If you see me looking at this, like being like, well, it's because I wrote like the key points, the key points. So this video is how to deal with mentally ill people 101. Why can I say how to deal with them? Because I am those mentally ill people. I'm one of those. I am that bitch. So first of all, let's get with the basics. Not two mentally ill people are gonna be the same. No way in fucking hell. Even if they have the same diagnosis, they're not gonna be the same. You're not gonna be able to treat them the same and expect the same reaction out of them. Mentally ill people are just like everyone else. Let's repeat that. Mentally ill people are just like everyone else, except that because we have this and we need some of those, maybe how the fuck are they called, aside from normies? Neurotypicals. If you're a neurotypical, which means you don't have a mental illness and stuff, maybe you see us and you're like, well, what the fuck do I expect? Well, there's a thing. We're all different. That's why I'm gonna start with one example. That is, yes, one mentally ill person can feel very, very strong emotions all the time, and then another mentally ill person can just be numb. I, for example, I'm in the middle, so there are some things that produce like really strong emotions to the point that I can cry and stuff. Crazy, right? Like the love that I have for my friends and family, or like the things that I love, like that thing, or an anime that is about friendship and stuff, that kind of stuff. Like it fucking ruins me. It makes me cry, it makes me sob, etc. But then as mentally ill people, we have gone through trauma. Mentally ill people have gone through trauma. Some is generational, some is not, but we all have that, which means that a lot of us develop this numbness to things so we can cope. So maybe you see me crying over an anime, and then you don't see me crying and like at the funeral of someone that I really love, and that is because to shield myself. I'm not choosing any of this, by the way, none of us do. To shield myself from feeling all that pain, all that grief, to feel it all over again, because I already felt that, my brain like shuts down and it's numb. When you see a mentally ill person that is numb to things, it's not because they want to be. They are not those psychopaths in movies that don't feel emotions and like kill animals because they can't feel anything. No, it's just a coping mechanism that your brain chooses, accepts. We don't choose them, our brain does, and we just have to live with it. The other kind of people that feel very strong emotions about almost everything, like they can have a panic attack over not receiving a response to a text the way that they wanted to receive it, or they can feel really really sad just because the weather is not like they expected it to, and that is not them being over dramatic, or them being like little bitches, whatever. It's not like that. And I really need you to understand that we cannot control those things. If you find them annoying, if you can live with someone like that, you should just step away quietly, or let them know in a way that that will not affect them that much, that maybe you can't, and that's okay. This video is mostly for people that have family members, that have friends with mental illnesses, and they just sometimes feel okay, and they just sometimes feel lost. They are like stepping on eggshells because they don't know how to deal with them, how to deal with us. And I don't want them to feel like mentally ill people are one of those surprise little boxes that you don't know what to expect. We're not always unreasonable. We're not some kind of enigma that you have to figure out. If you pay close enough attention to that person that you want to have a relationship with, be romantic, friendship, family ties, anything, if you pay close attention to them, you will know how to interact with them. You know what to expect, because they are this case. It really does hurt when someone says like, I never know what to expect of you. Like, don't expect me to know how to deal with all of this, because if you just pay close attention to us, you will notice what things trigger us, what things we are comfortable with doing, what things makes us feel bad, makes us feel good. If you pay close attention, you can make us comfortable, and we can have an stable relationship. Sorry, my fucking moo like falls down. Going back to the not two mentally ill people are the same. In this video, it might seem like I'm contradicting myself, or like I'm saying this one thing and then this one thing, and they're completely opposites. That's because mental illness appears in people in so many kind of ways. If I make two groups of people, I'm already making two big puddles, because I could make like 8 of them, and even then I wouldn't be covering all of them. So I'm not contradicting myself, I'm just trying to explain the very basics so you can have an idea. Why the fuck are my neighbors building? It's Sunday, it's God's day. Why are you building at 10 in the morning? Yeah, you better stop. Yeah, fuck. So we went through point 1 that I think is the one that people most struggle with. That is like the people that feel very strong emotions and the people that feel numb. The symptoms that you can see most clearly, because let's say you're hanging out with a mental ill person and you notice a sudden shift in them. That is not really that sudden. That person probably was expecting that the moment that they heard a triggering thing, the moment they saw a triggering thing for them. They probably knew, and they don't want to bother you by telling you, hey, this really hurt me, this triggered me, this is what is happening through my head, because we usually don't want to be a bother. We usually already feel like a bother to the people around us, so we don't want to make them feel even more responsible. We don't want to annoy them any further, so we usually shut down, but we cannot shut down our emotions. So if you feel a sudden change in them, it might be because of that. Now moving on, people that take things way too literal, or that talk like fucking cryptids. I think that I'm on the middle of that, so I think that I'm a good example. Finally, I, for example, need, if I propose something to someone, I need them to tell me like word for word what I said back, so I know that they understood very clearly what I meant. Some days ago, I told my friend, hey, I need help with some classes. I'm willing to pay you if you come and help me, if you need the money. And they were like, yeah, just tell me when to come to your house. And I was like, but do you want the money? No, do you need the money? And I felt really lost. And for you, the answer might be very obvious, but to me, that put me in an uncomfy situation. That's just one example. Then there's this one example on my TikTok. I don't know if I'm gonna put it or not, but so yeah, I take some things very literally. And then there's the other side of the spectrum, that is people that talk like fucking cryptid. That maybe the people that in like the movies, the bully is like talking to them and they're just like, and the bully is like, you weirdo. I should take acting classes. Some mentally ill people, just like in Japanese culture, they are very situational. They're very context based. Maybe you tell them like, let's go to the park at 6, and we'll have a picnic and we'll do all this stuff and blah 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 blah, and they're okay with it. So they are just like or something, and you're like, what, are you mad at, are you like, what, are you annoyed at me? Did I do something wrong? Like, do you not want to go? It's just that those people already feel like they don't need to over explain themselves. So you see how those two worlds like contradict themselves, but at the same time they can exist within a person like me. You may have like two mentally people living together, and one needs like that word for word assurance, and the other one is just very context based. You will see them and you will be like, why aren't you freaking out about this response? That's because mentally ill people, just we can talk to each other a lot more freely because we don't need to explain a lot of stuff. Like if a mentally ill person is with another mentally ill person and they're like, sorry, I can't talk right now, I'm dissociating, they don't need to explain to the other person what dissociating means, what they're going through. The other person is probably just going to be like, okay, let me know if you need anything, and that's it. And maybe a neurotypical person sees that and is like, well, you're so disconsiderate and stuff, but we understand each other. Trigger words, those exist, and those are not a joke as much as they were funny for like 5 minutes. But now we're talking about the serious stuff, the real meat. Trigger words are a whole nother beast, but basically they are also a response to trauma. So to you, a word can mean absolutely nothing, and you may say it with no intention of triggering the other person, but since it's a response to trauma, it just will. Let's say that a mentally ill person was like really bullied when they went to the pool because of their body, I don't know, or like a mentally ill trans person, and you're just like, hey, let's go to the pool, like being like a friend, just inviting them because you want them to have a good time. And you might either see their whole face change, or they get like really quiet, they get in a self-defense like position, like a little bit like this. And that's because that's a trauma response. They might, in that second that you said that word, all those memories of the bullying, or like their feelings of insecurity and all of those things, they come in a second to their mind. I talked about like silent reactions, like passive reactions, but you may also see aggressive reactions. You may also see active reactions, like them being really scared, them shaking their head, them like screaming no, those kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that usually like freaks people out because they're like, I just said pool, like what are you talking about? Like, what did I do wrong? I just invited you to the pool. That's why it's very, very important. And then I want it to be the centerpiece of this video, that if you want to have any kind of relationship, any kind of good relationship with a mentally ill person or a mentally unstable person, you need to get to know them so you can avoid those kind of situations, because it's not your fault that you didn't know that pool was a triggering word. But if you get to know them and you get to know their story, you're probably not going to mention pools in the same way or in that crude way, let's say. So also don't feel like you failed at anything. You just have to accommodate to them and their pace. If you're seeing this video and you've got to this point, I think that you really care about this issue and that person. So I have a lot of hope that you will do that. That kind of ties into the next one. I don't know. I wanted to talk about very social mentally ill people and very asocial mentally ill people. Like I said, I'm that gray zone, you know. I don't want to list all my diagnoses, but like my psychiatrist said, I have a little bit of everything. Yes, I honestly think that I was not diagnosed with autism just because like I'm a very social person. Who knows? So I'm a very social mentally ill person. How does that work? I think that this Facebook post of mine explains it very well. But basically, I had to grow up very fast. I had to be mature very fast. I felt the need to be mature for others. Like, I'm a very protective person, so that kind of made me be social. Maybe I wasn't gonna be social if I wasn't mentally ill, and I would just be an irresponsible teenager, you know? But that's not the case. Like, if in my group of friends they are all anxious to make a call, which is something normal with mentally ill and asocial people, I'm gonna make the fucking call. Like, I don't care. If I'm with a group of neurotypicals, I would probably just stay silent and let them make the call. I won't be like, yes, me. But if I have to step up and do the thing, I will do the thing. So I'm very social if I have to, and sometimes because I want to. I really love people in a way that like they fascinate me in some way, because everyone is special. There's no two people like exactly like each other, and I think that's pretty cool. But in another situation, I may be like really quiet. So I guess that I'm in the middle, but you might find the two sides very separately. In one side, you may have those people that they really like to talk about their affections. So let's say that they really like Grey's Anatomy. You may be with that person and you feel like they're one of those people that never shut up, because they're always talking about Grey's Anatomy to you, but you don't see that they're talking about a specific subject. Like, maybe they have the big three. They really like Grey's Anatomy. They really like they really like frogs, and they really like, I don't know, rain. Every time you are with them, they are talking, because they trust you. So they talk to you about the latest episode of Grey's Anatomy that they saw. They talk to you about the rain that happened last night. They talk to you about this fucking drug. No, not drugs. They talk to you about this frog photo that they just saw, and they talk, and then you find out that they're mentally ill, and usually people with their diagnosis should be quiet and stuff. This happens a lot to people in the autism spectrum. That's because those are their hyperfixations, and if they trust you, they will really put that on you. So you may be like, what do you mean you don't talk a lot? You talk to me all the time. And yes, they do, but but they may not be good or like casual talk, small talk. They may not like it. They may not be good at it. There's this other side that when they feel comfortable with you, what they do is shut up. They might really force themselves to talk and give responses in social situations, but when they trust you enough, they don't feel like they have to put up that front. They're comfortable enough with you that when you two are alone, that person feels like they can just be themselves and be quiet and have their own little space, you know? Those people are adorable, by the way. They don't just stop talking when they're with you because you bore them or anything like that. That might be the fucking opposite, you know? They're probably not talking to you because they're comfortable enough in you guys' relationship that they don't feel like they have to make you like them. They know that they already know that you like them enough, so they're being their most comfortable self. I don't know. I think I'm forgetting some. I think that's good. Like for at least a part one. I think that's pretty cool. If y'all have subjects that you want me to talk about in this realm of mental illness, you can tell me and I will make a part two. But I think that I cover like the very basic or like the most easy to understand misconceptions. That's really swag of me. Anyways, bye.